think that's why they seem tighter. They've actually dried a little bit and stuck. It could be a coating issue too. I don't honestly know. I went back to a cork producer that I used for years on starting with the 08s, and they're much better corks.
More pliable.
Vineyards and getting our tweaks in to deal with them in the most appropriate way per block. I think has kept us on a steady progression from 06.
Do you feel that all your plantings now are permanent?
No.
Yeah. Why not surprised?
That wouldn't be any fun. But I think it's it's minor tweaks from here. There's no major vineyard changes. We did so after we regrafted the third of Family Farm. Once it came back into production and we saw how much quality we gained by that, we did last year graft another acre of it.
Mm-hmm.
So the 09 is actually a unique point in time where the whole vineyard's in production, and then we took another piece out right away. So
what clone did you take out this time?
Swan.
Really? Wow.
Is it
almost 100%? What is 100% what? Almost.
What we took out was Swan.
And what did you put in?
Masal.
And is that pretty much the whole vineyard now?
It's half the vineyard now.
Okay.
We did leave 1 acre of Swan. We actually left. We have of our 70 some odd acres now. We have 1 acre of Dijon clones, 115, and it's one that does. I mean, at Family Farm it does fine.
Mm-hmm.
Pomard at Family Farm is fantastic. One of our favorite. So you get different results from clones in different sites. Family Farm is not a great Swan site. Swan lacks structure, and Family Farm with the deeper soils doesn't get the structure that the rocky soils get. But the 115 in the Swan at Family Farm, starting in 2010, will not make the vineyard designate. So we're leaving them in there, but that's because we're intending to make a Rhys San Mateo appellation wine out of those grapes, and it seems like that's what our customers want. We'll get the rest of the vineyard will make the vineyard. Go in there and really get to know the vineyard half acre by half acre, because that's the size of the blocks, and we can make sure that the vines in a certain block have the exact right crop load for that block, because some blocks can't carry a lot of crop, some can, some do better when they have more crop, some do better when they have less. All those decisions that you make throughout the year, then when we pick it, we might destem it, we might not. When do we pick it? How does it handle the heat?
This is mind-boggling. Nobody micromanages a vineyard like you guys. Nobody.
Well, the other thing too, you have to remember at the beginning we didn't know. Mm-hmm. So the questions we would ask are, well, what this is going to do this year? And we're to the point now where a lot of these we understand well enough that throughout the entire year we've taken care of them, and we know what they're going to do when they hit the winery. And so we make decisions in the winery that we could never make before either. It's the whole thing. It's the vineyard all the way through. And we understand how it's going to work in the vineyard, what we need to do. We understand what it's going to do in the winery and how we need to treat it. And it just allows us to really make good decisions and then hard selections at the end.
And we've made, we've made some changes in the plant material that takes a few years. So like right now, last year we took we took 2+ acres of horseshoe out of production and regrafted them. So that will really start to improve our horseshoe balling, 3 years from now or something like that. So it's a long-term process. But
I mean, if I think about it, you're reminding me now that your vines are so young, mm-hmm. and the kind of wines that you're making out of young vines. It's pretty unprecedented. To have as much.
Absolutely, and that's mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Going back to
just vine age helps.
Yeah.
Vine age. That's just what I was going to say with Paul's question about the hillside. Not the reason we haven't made an alpine hillside. We've talked about this is that it seems like the rest of alpine has gotten better. Not that the hillside's actually gotten where it isn't distinguished. It's we feel like that the rest of the blend has come up in quality as we've learned more and the vines have gotten older, we treat it differently than we did even 3 years ago.
There's an interesting progression that we've seen in the young vines where in the first, second, third crop of the young vines, they'll make a more powerful wine. And then there's this migration toward elegance. And I think if people saw vertical of our Alpine, for example, they could see that. And they'd see it actually in the Swan too. Where the first couple of wines are going to be a little bigger. They're not going to have quite as much of the real finesse and terroir aspects. And that comes out about, when the vines are hitting age 7 or 8, they head in that direction.